Greetings, my name is Neosekken and welcome back to my Let's Play of Aoi Shiro. In the last episode, we went on our test of courage with Nami and Tao, and when we reached the Tokosaki no Tsubaki, Nami ended up touching it and absorbing its power directly into herself. And interestingly, that absorbing of the Tokosaki no Tsubaki's power was enough to, at least briefly anyway, reawaken Yasuhime-sama within Nami, who then requested aid from Shioko to help her reach Urashima to fix the weakening seal on Matamu that is present on the island before the owner of a certain dragon sword shows up here and ends up breaking it. So, after that though, we were ambushed by some Muryu, undoubtedly created and sent after us by said owner of the sword, but luckily Kuro-sama / Kohaku showed up and gave us an opportunity to escape. So fast forward to today, we now have to make a decision here. Either just go back and cancel our trip because of bad weather that's coming, or we try to sneak on over to Urashima with Nami and try to fulfill Yasuhime's request before we're forced to leave. And well, we saw what happened when I said it was too late last time towards the end of the last episode, so now we're going to try to go to the island this time.
Nami, 私は島へ行こうと思う.
The monk had said not to do anything to cause trouble, but the Tokosaki no Tsubaki was a flower that bloomed at a forbidden place. I didn't think Nakata-sen would let us come over if we asked him up front. That's why I decided to go.
危険かもしれないけど、大変かもしれないけど、島へ行けばナミは全てを取り戻せると思うのよ。夕方まで休んだら、それから踏み石を通って島へ行こう。わかりました。
If it was for Nami's sake, I decided to take whatever path was necessary, no matter how dangerous it might be. Just be mindful of her rather long hair, and make sure it doesn't get caught up on rocks or anything.
朝が和風でしたので、お昼は中華っぽく、あまりこってり風にはならないようにしてみました。
Okay, I'm assuming this is the same exact scene from last time, so, skip? Okay, here we are. The ocean on the right side of the island was covered in shadow. The sun colored the sea as it went down. When the sun was high up, the sky was pure white. It now lost that color as the sun set into the western sea. The wind blew, and the ocean stirred. The wavering surface mixed together in countless ways, making strange, complicated patterns as it bent to setting light. The world was dyed in yellow, then red, then purple. The only stepping stones poked out from beneath a golden sea. The right half was colored in crimson, while the left side created shadows that dropped across a part of the ocean. As the setting sun created shadows on the left side, the water was dyed in gold and in red and gleamed brighter than usual. From the start of twilight to the moments after, we entered the time of gloaming. The land was covered in shadow, and I couldn't tell the difference between here and there. The glittering light made me feel as if I would lose track of my goal.
夕方になったわね。
島に行きますか?
She didn't even need to ask that. I squeezed the palm I was holding once.
翔子ちゃんはここに残っていた方がいいかもしれません。
I'm not letting you cross alone.
そんなわけにはいかないわよ。あなた一人で踏み石を渡れると思う？
それは。
第一、私が頼まれたのよ。私を島に連れて行ってくれって。 行きましょう。
This would be the first step. The gap between the rocks wasn't as wide as the ocean. Even the stride of a person could cross over them. I wonder if Miwa is currently over on the island right now. I proceeded first. Turning around, I reached out my hand to Nami, who was still on Unasaka.
足元気をつけて。
はい。
もう少し動きやすい格好で来ればよかったわね。
はい。
でも着替えて出ると周りに気づかれるからね。
Nami and I had done the minimal amount of preparation before coming here. Not wise. Even wearing something comfortable, with Nami's slender hands and feet, it'd be hard for her to cross the stepping stones. The sun was already on its way down, and because of the wind and spray, I didn't feel much warmth. But I was using pure strength to help Nami cross the stepping stones, so I'd worked up a sweat. Well, it seemed I could last until we reached Hiroshima. I was more worried about the time limit than my stamina. I wonder how long it's been since the two of us departed from Unasaka. The sun was sunk deep into the horizon, and the golden ocean was crimson, as if it were reflecting the Tokusaki no Tsubaki. It wouldn't get as dark as quickly as in autumn, but if the sun had sunk that low, it would get dark soon.
ここは一人じゃ降りられないわね。私が先に降りるからちょっと待ってて。
Putting one leg forward, I slid down the large lock. Then I stretched both my arms out towards Nami. Like how a little kid yells, "It's high, it's high." I had gotten down by leaning on my side, and now helped Nami.
翔子ちゃん、
Probably Sensei wondering where the hell we are.
何？
鳴ってます。海の音ではない音が。
携帯ね。手を離せないこんな時に。
離したらどうなりますか？
波が落ちる。
落ちたらどうなりますか？
大変でしょうね。
はあ、離さないでください。
離さないわよ。
あ、音が止まりました。
大事なようならまたかけてくるでしょう。
It was probably something like Momoko didn't see us around and decided to try giving us a call to see what's going on. Since the sky was still red, free time wasn't over yet.
よっ。
Nami's feet touched down on land that was above the waves.
さあ、進みましょう。
Nami closed her eyes and twisted her head, acting as if she heard something.
翔子ちゃん、潮が変わりました。翔子ちゃん、今から潮が満ちていきます。
半分来たか来てないか怪しいところね。
はい。
ちょっと急がないとまずいわね。
急がないとどうなりますか？
沈む。
We were only a few meters away from reaching the land that wouldn't be hidden beneath the water's surface. Even if that place was eventually covered in water, we should be able to move faster than the filling tide.
なんとか間に合ったみたいね。
はい。
It'd be a different story if you lost consciousness here, but it seemed we didn't need to fear the filling tide anymore. There wasn't even 1 meter left until reaching Hiroshima. The land we were standing on would already belong to Hiroshima at low tide. At the current time, it was between the land and the sea. I was giving a piggyback ride to Nami, let her down on shore first.
濡れましたけど、間に合っていますか？
股下までしか濡れてないから、まだマシなんじゃないかしら。
It would have been nice to cross over when it was truly low tide, but we managed to leave at a time where we just made it. I carried Nami on my back and ran through the shallows for the last 10 meters or so. If the water level had been a little higher, it pushed me around, and it might have been difficult to proceed without falling.
和尚の力作が台無しね。
I said that as I wrung the seawater from Nami's long sleeves. The glow of twilight looked about to disappear. Free time should have ended a little before now.
さて、時間は？
As I opened the cell phone to check the time, I wasn't greeted with those 4 digits, but some other information.
ああ、しまった。
どうしました？
充電してくるの忘れちゃったのよ。
You still forgot to charge your phone. Shioko, I am very disappointed in you. Doubly so now that this has happened twice. From yesterday's test of courage until now, various things had happened, so I'd forgotten my customary habit.
それを忘れるとどうなりますか？
肝心な時に役に立たなくなる。
The cell phone in my hand suddenly began playing its ringtone, which caused Nabi to shudder in surprise.
はあ、大丈夫。鳴ってます。
My face softened into a smile.
まあ、もう少しならね。
The one calling me turned out to be Aoi Sensei. Nah, let's keep her worried a bit. Let her speculate on what's happening. Let's answer the call. The incoming ringtone didn't immediately stop. I pondered what to do. In the end, I decided to answer it.
ほら、幼いさんどこにいるんですか？
Tokyo! I got yelled at the moment I answered the phone.
さっきずっと鳴らしてたのに取らなかったでしょ。先生は怒ってるんですよ。
I like how you seem unsure about whether or not you're going to get angry.
その、踏み石を渡ってて手が離せなかったもので。踏み石ってことは、幼いさん、今浦島にいるわけですか？はい、ナミと二人で。ナミちゃんを連れてあんな場所を？ちょっと待って、鈴木さんと相談するから。ああ、かけ直してくれればいいのに。
It seems they were having a discussion on the other side of the phone, so I had to wait a while.
鈴木さんが根方さんに連絡を取ってくれるそうだから、今日はそこにお世話になりなさい。
Ah, shit. I didn't think they'd call. I didn't even think to think that they'd call Nikata. Shit. This was a mistake. That was a little. We didn't have a way of showing that we were performing a request from Yasuhime-sama. A normal Shinto priest wouldn't look kindly on outsiders who came to a forbidden place to do something to the Tokusaki no Tsubaki. No. In the worst case, if he found out about our goal, it would make it much more difficult to carry out our task. Yeah, don't let him know.
それはちょっと困ります。どうして？私たち今禁足地にいるんですよ。踏み石を渡ったならそうなるわよね。私たちこれから床先の椿の森を探すんですよ。それじゃあ幼いさんには今からしようとしていることがいけないことだって分かっているわけね。
Yes, and I do not care.
でもナミの記憶を戻すには。お黙りなさい。いいですか？かすれども当然の水を飲まずって言葉がありましてね。
Sensei's voice suddenly cut off.
あれ？もしもし？
役に立たなくなりました？
Yes, unfortunately.
なった。
The remaining battery was completely used up. The other party might even think I got tired of listening and turned off the phone.
ああ、葵先生、怒ってるだろうな。
I don't know. I think she's still thinking about whether or not she will be, though, even after this.
どうして怒るんですか?
I walked through a dark forest. The faint moonlight shining through clung to Nami's white skin as I held her hand while walking through the dark forest. Searching for the Tokosaki no Tsubaki forest, where red tsubaki bloomed outside of spring, I walked through the dark forest at night. Though our target was the power residing in those tsubaki, there was not a single person around to censure us.
人の姿がなくて助かるわね。
禁足地ですから。
It's as expected that no one was around. The whole area around us, not just the Tokosaki no Tsubaki forest, was a forbidden place. There was only one person authorized to enter.
なるほど。誰かに見つかるとすれば。
That person should be Nakata-san, the priest of the island and the caretaker of this forbidden land. That person should know the location of where we wanted to go, but I was ignorant of this island and didn't know at all. I had a faint sense of deja vu, but that didn't mean we were headed to where the Tokosaki no Tsubaki bloomed. Looking at it from a map, it didn't seem that big, I think you mean actually, walked through it. It felt very spacious. I wonder if it's okay to proceed like this. I don't see how Nami could really be of any help here. So let's follow Deja Vu.
多分こっちだと思う。
We probably had to continue going. I had a feeling of deja vu. That memory was sunk deep within me, but I should have come to the Tokosaki no Tsubaki forest before. The dream I saw on the night I found Nami. The vision I saw as I watched the sleeping Nami. In that scene, the two of us were walking through a forest filled with red tsubaki. The two of us. I wonder if that was Nami and me. Obviously not. She's too young. If we went to the Tokosaki no Tsubaki forest, Nami might remember various things, including getting a clear picture of that time. I still didn't see any red flowers yet. Oh boy.
進行上カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I'm gonna go with my gut instinct and say it should be further.
もっと遠くにあった気がするんだけど。
見つかりそうですか?
Though I had a sense of deja vu, I didn't have any sense of confidence. However, according to my deja vu, it should be further. It should be okay since we didn't see any red tsubaki yet. We walked into the middle of the forest. Holding hands, we walked through the middle of the forest. Earlier, since my deja vu had indicated it was further, we walked for quite a while past that point. Though my sense of deja vu indicated this was about the spot, I still didn't see any red flowers. If I had to guess why, it's because our cousin had arrived on the island and possibly broke the seal already, maybe? And so the Tsubaki flowers kind of already fell.
おかしいわね。
You know, worst case scenario. The inconsistency of my faint memory of the current scenery made me feel uneasy. Though it should be around here, I didn't see anything. In order to quell my uneasiness, I held onto Nami's hand and continued moving forward without stopping. And then, suddenly...
あ、この景色、覚えがある。
The scenery in front of me filled in the details of the hazy image of deja vu in my mind, restoring it as I looked around. Not just the scene in front of me, but also what lay further on. The red objects that glittered were...
そこ先の椿じゃない。
It wasn't red tsubaki petals scattered by the wind, but the swaying flame of a lantern. God damn it, we ended up at his freaking home. On Paro Shoshinji, there was an old stately mansion with a pretentious gate, sitting in a clearing of the forest. My gut instinct has screwed me!
ここは根方さんの屋敷だ。
Holding Nami's hand, I head towards the mansion in front of us.
行くんですか？
状況が状況だしね。
It was already nighttime, and the wind had also gotten stronger. Also, since the phone call had gotten cut off, Aoi Sensei might have asked this person to help take care of us. The light of the lantern caused eerie, flickering shadows to be cast by the dilapidated walls.
心配です。
Well, we should be.
なんとかなるわよ。
And then, I knocked on the door.
もしもし、ごめんください。
ごめんください。
どなたかね。
Here we go. I imagine things are going to go south within minutes. After a short pause, an answer came. White robes and white hakama pants floated up through the darkness. The lamps lining the road in the moonlight couldn't light up the wrinkles on the face, entering old age, and made them look deeper. He had few smile lines around his eyes, and the wrinkles connecting the edges of his mouth and eyebrows stood out. He wasn't very tall, but even through the white robes I could tell that he had trained his body to its limit. The impression was that of tempered steel, which was continuously forged until all impurities had been hammered out. His strict self-control stood out. The man with a melancholy air about him moved his eyebrows slightly at the sight of Nami.
津波。安姫様。
Well, shit, he recognized us. Faster than we could introduce ourselves, that person saw Nami and called her Yasuhime-sama.
ナミのこと知ってるんですか？
君は？
彼女を保護したものです。
I gave a minimal explanation. His expression didn't change, but he lowered his head to his waist in a somewhat charming fashion.
ありがとう。お手数をかけたようだ。
There was only that singular movement. It was like he was performing an act on stage for a Shinto performance. That person with the solemn air about him.
ここに連れてきたということは、すでに知っているかもしれんが、私は根方宗次。
This person was Nekata Munutsugu. He was the Nekata priest who worshipped Kuro-sama, and also the extraordinary swordsman who mastered Nekata Kuryu-ryu. And though it seems Nami didn't remember him, he said he was Nami's guardian. However, if Nami were Yasuhime-sama or her vessel, then it was natural that the Nekata priest would be her guardian. More like
彼女を
captor.
連れてきてくれたことにはお礼を言わせてもらおう。
I must thank you for... whoops. And for 2 nights, until the day after Kurosama's festival and the boats crossed once again, I stayed at the Nekata mansion. The stifling atmosphere was a more zen-like experience than staying at Shoshinji, which was a Zen temple. And I was the only one to return to Unasaka. Nami didn't step outside of those gates. I'm sorry, Nami. I fucked everything up. Let's try around here this time. And then, Nami and I proceeded through the middle of the dark forest.
翔子ちゃん、あれ
Oh, here we are. We got it right this time.
床先の椿の森。
The wind rustled through the leaves, causing the moonlight to filter through. Because of that, it looked like the red flowers blinked.
着いた。床先の椿の森。
The place was covered in a disarray of blooming red flowers. The scene in my dream. The illusion where I saw the Sao forest. In front of my eyes was the very proof that those events were real. Even one tree would have a noticeable presence, but there were so many flowering here that it made it a forest.
翔子ちゃん、ここ気持ち悪いです。
Nami drew near me and buried her face beneath my chest.
良くない力が膨れ上がってる。
マタムが封印を破りかけてるんだわ。
Since the Tsubaki were still flowering, Matamu was still bound by the seal of the Tsubaki. From what Nami grasped about the situation, we really had made it just in time.
安姫様はナミをこの場所に連れてきてくれって。マタムの封印が解ける前に自分の力を取り戻しておきたいからって。
はい。
あの時みたいにナミが触れればいいのかしら。
こうですか。
There was a large expansion in a nearby area, which then focused on Nami as it returned to normal. It was similar to the final heartbeat of a living being.
花が。
Just like last night, the flowers which never withered fell down. Different than last night, the flowers from the entire forest fell. We didn't just undo the seal, did we? The flowers that plopped to the ground stained the forest in red.
私に力を。
Nami was speaking a different tone than her usual voice.
私に力を返したので、床先の力を失ったのです。
Well, shit.
ナミ、いいえ、安姫様。
まだ封印は破られていませんが、それも時間の問題でしょう。
Okay, good. That's very relieving. I thought we screwed up again.
封印を強化することは。
剣がこの地にある以上、わずかばかり強くしたところで意味がないのです。
Sword is still here then, so she's still here then.
剣とマタムはその存在の根を同じくするもの。互いが互いの呼び水となり、力の触れを増し合いますから。
The sword and Matamu have the same origin. I forget. Was there a sword? Was there a sword like the Dragon One mentioned in that old legend?
それに私の力では今より強い封印を施すことは。
She shook her head, indicating it would be counterproductive.
マタムは剣が近づくことでその動きを盛んにします。剣自体、風を起こし雲を沸かせ、雷を落とし、海の干満さえ意のままにするとてつもない力を持った人気なのですが。
Can do all that, huh? So that means that our dear cousin, has probably been creating some of these storms, huh? It is a hidden, cursed item from the age of gods with fearsome power that can move both the heavens and the oceans.
しかし、それが本意ではありません。剣は剣なり、剣は人の手に余る。うつしおの創生にも関わる絶大な力が封印された和田摘の都へと至る門の鍵なのです。
And let me guess, dear cousin is trying to open that gate.
鍵がなければ開くことができない。
門はそういう性質のものではありませんが、剣と同等の やはり人の身からすれば途方もない力を必要とするのです。それだけの力を必要とするひたすらに重い門と考えてもらうのが良いでしょう。
It was a gate that human hands would never have been able to open. The thing that could open it was the key, which was the sword that Yasuhime-sama spoke about.
それが人や鬼の手に渡らぬよう、あの方は一計を案じ失われたと見せかけ、遥か遠方の竜宮の王子にそれを託したのです。
その竜宮というのは琉球。
I don't know why she was staying at Shoshinji, but Mikiwa came from the direction of Ryukyu to the south, aka Okinawa. Did Mikiwa bring the sword? Was Mikiwa searching for the sword?
もうここまでのようです。
安姫様。
次に目覚めた時には、私は二度とこのような形で現れることはないでしょう。
そんな。
それが津波のためでもあるのです。
With a slightly sad look, Yasuhime-sama placed her hand on her chest. Reaching out her left hand, she pointed towards my right.
翔子、あちらをご覧なさい。
There was a small shrine in the direction where Yasuhime-sama was pointing. A small shrine which looked like a shelter, with an entrance like a historical ruin, looked almost buried by the Tsubaki.
あそこは。
I knew that place. Though I hadn't entered it yet, I knew there was a large stone that resembled a bed.
思い出しませんか？ここで何があったのか。
A child.
私は波に連れられて。
There, Yasuhime-sama. Yasuhime-sama, who had continually slumbered. Oh, so she was kept here. Huh. We had accidentally awakened her? Nami was Nakata. Nakata-san.
翔子、後のことをお願いしてよいでしょうか。後のことを託して休んでもよいでしょうか。
Wait. No, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I could do nothing but nod. Okay, crazy idea, but what if the body that Yasuhime-sama is inheriting now, or the one that we just saw in that flashback, one of these two, might be the body of Yasumi's sister? Which would explain why Shioko mistook her, confused the two in her childhood memories, because they resembled each other a bit. Again, I might be reading too much into this. I don't know.
良い子ですね。私の根と白をあなた方に伝えられてよかった。あの方と同じ時代を生きたくて、私は残の肉を食べ、床バカの体となりましたが、悔いがないと言えば嘘になりますが、それでも私は生きていてよかったと思います。それでは翔子、頼みましたよ。
安姫様。
I held on to her as she was about to collapse. Yasuhime-sama's will was no longer here. There was the sound of someone sleeping. The sound of sleeping was coming from Nami. As I brushed back her hair, I pondered. Now that Yasuhime-sama's power had returned to Nami's body, I wondered if we could accomplish something. Since she was asleep right now, I couldn't confirm it, but like how Nami was able to talk this morning, maybe she would know how to deal with the seal by the next time she woke up. I wondered if there was anything I could do while I waited for Nami to awaken. The red tsubaki flowers that should have kept Matamu sealed forever had scattered. I wondered if Migiwa would know something about these events. Thinking about it, the timing of when the sword approached and when Migiwa disappeared was suspicious. I decided to try contacting Migiwa. Yeah, you don't forget your phone is dead. I remember that my cell phone had run out of batteries.
ダメか。休ませたからちょっとは回復してるかもって甘い期待をしてたけど。
Anyways, it was my own fault for forgetting to charge it. I also had the bad luck of receiving a long lecture from Aoi sensei. No. Even before that fact, I didn't know Migiwa's cell phone number, so even if I had battery power left, there'd be no point. Migiwa had disappeared before dusk, so I had thought she might have gone to Urashima before us during the previous low tide. After that, the only thing I could do was carry Nami to the small shrine in order for us to wait out the storm. In no time at all, a tempest covered the land. The dragon god, which invited storms, was paying a visit. The interior wasn't like a hollowed-out cave, but was surrounded by stone walls. It gave the impression of a stone chamber, or a burial ground. However, there was no coffin. Though it was about the size of one, it was a thick piece of stone meant to hold something inside. The surface of the stone was covered in what looked like waves, swirls, or words, and had an indentation perfect for a person. It was a stone bed. The stone was cold to the touch, but it was better than lying on the floor, so I placed Nami inside. Looking at Nami lying down on that bed caused my heart to billow. The bubbles sailed down as they sank. 8 years ago, at this small shrine, when I heard the sound of the bubbles from me popping, Nami, she gently opened her eyes.
ナミ？目が覚めた？
翔子ちゃん。
Her voice was the same, but she spoke like a little child. She acted more composed than the age she looked to be, though.
ねえ、翔子ちゃん。ずっと夢を見ていたような気がします。
夢？
翔子ちゃんがこの島に遊びに来てから、今までずっと夢を見ていたような気がするんです。
She was saying that her mind had remained a child as she continued sleeping, holding on to the memories of playing with me. Maybe her age didn't match, and her hair and eyes were different because of mermaid's flesh, or maybe she was like Urashima Taru. Nami wrapped her arms in a hug around someone like me.
翔子ちゃんは私の初めての人だから。
Outside the cavern, the dragon god roared. The sky that opened up was like a waterfall, as the raindrops fell like spears. The groundwater was like the dragon god's troops, and there was the thunderous sound of waves, as if they heralded their leader. The world of Urashima was filled with water.
翔子ちゃん、おはようございます。
When I woke up, I saw Nami. Did she wake me up earlier? Did she wake up earlier than me? Or did she not go to sleep at all?
おはよう、ナミ。どれぐらい寝てた？
わかりません。
I then looked at the entrance.
嵐が止んでる？
From the time I woke up to until now, the reason I thought I didn't hear the raging wind was because I had gotten used to it. I went to the entrance of the small shrine to confirm the weather. The wind which should have blown against my skin was gone. The red flowers had already lost their everlasting power and weren't swaying in the wind, but stood still, looking dead. The red flowers which should have fallen were blown away by the storm, and there was no sense of a mysterious forest. The only things lined up were ordinary tsubaki. I looked up from the ground towards the sky to confirm the weather. The sky wasn't stained in red yet, but I wonder if it were closer to dusk than to noon.
嵐は一応収まったみたいだけど。
This calm atmosphere, where the wind had stopped, was as if all impurities had been blown away and felt strained. This silence almost felt heavy.
翔子ちゃん、病んでいるのではなく、その中心にいるんです。クロウ様のとぐろに包み込まれているんです。クロウ様が来たんです。感じませんか？
I could feel it.
空まで満ちたわだつみの。
Perhaps I should say it felt like a sensation of heavy water around me. I could feel the power against my skin. Nami, who was raised to be a sacrifice, should be even more sensitive to it than me. Her hazy eyes looked off into the distance. You are Yasumi's sister, aren't you?
夕方にお父さんが祭儀を行います。
Well, shit. That definitely explains Yasumi's initial reaction upon seeing you, washed up on the beach. Nami-chan's father. The ritual that Nakata Munetsugu, the Nakata priest who worships Kurosama, would conduct.
わだつみの岩倉で牛を切り、海に投げ込み、捧げます。
牛を？
An ox. The first thought that popped into my mind when she mentioned an ox was Matamu, an ox demon.
関係あるの？
わかりません。でも、かもしれません。
Since it concerned the ritual brought to Urashima, it would be difficult to say that there was no connection at all.
生贄の牛の魂魄のうち、子を子たらしめる根の部分は、マタムのそれとは似ても似つかぬ、全く別のものでしょう。
If Matamu was really an ox formed from the Oni King, then its soul should be that of the Oni King, not an ox.
ですが、体に宿る白の部分は、
Kan was the spiritual energy that supported the soul. Paku was the spiritual energy that supported the body.
見た目の形が似ているだけに、似ている部分が存在する？
かもしれません。
If it were something that easily changed shape, then just by resembling the vessel, it would be easy for things to combine.
一年一頭の儀式も800年続ければ800頭です。800の牛の白を集めたところで、マタムのものには遠く及ばないかもしれませんが。
Those souls might act as a vessel, where Matamu could materialize.
行こうか。
She replied by giving me a nod.
その場所ってここから遠い？
翔子ちゃんの足なら余裕があるかもしれませんけど。
Nami looked down at her own legs. Because of the monk's innovative design, the cuffs were wide and didn't impede movement much, but Her stride and the number of steps she had taken were already few enough, and she was different from me, who trained regularly. However, I didn't even think about leaving Nami behind.
急ぎましょう。
If her pace was going to be slow, then we couldn't waste any time at all. Since we didn't have to do any preparations, we left that place behind. I held onto Nami's hand. At times, Nami stood ahead of me, pointing out the way to go. By the time we arrived at our destination, the sunlight beyond the clouds that surrounded the island had started to fade.
なんとか間に合ったみたいね。動くな。
Migiwa? I hadn't heard the sound of anyone moving through the underbrush or the like. The first thing I heard was a low, restrained voice. Yeah, it's Migiwa. The arms which reached out from behind me covered my mouth and restrained my right hand. Where did this person appear from? Had the person materialized from the long, thick shadows caused by a setting sun? After seeing such things as Moryu, I couldn't just dismiss my thoughts as that would be impossible.
右輪さんです。
Nice outfit.
こんな時にそんな冗談。
お、ナミーが喋ってる。
I swung my fist as she let go of me, but she slid towards my blind spot, and I hit empty air.
椿の力を入れたので。
それにしても、あなたのその格好は何？
何と言われても戦闘服？とりあえず服のことについてはナミーをそのまま連れてきちゃう長にとやかく言われたくないわね。
She kinda has us there.
動きにくくはないですよ。ナミーの場合、その長い髪をどうにかしたり、服以外にも改善の余地がありまくりだけどね。翔子ちゃんも右輪さんも肩につかない長さです。切った方がいいですか？
何？
It was a preposterous thing to say she would cut her hair. Since Nami was cute, short hair might suit her, but in my opinion, she really did look better with long hair. Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's true that it's inconvenient to drag along the ground, so it'd be better for the length to be at her waist or back, but without thinking, I glared at Mikiwa.
私には何とも言えないけど、思いつきで切るのはやめた方がいいんじゃないの？
It wasn't just because she thought the hair looked nice or not.
髪の毛自体強力な呪物なわけだし。
Does it now?
その子は母の腹にいる時より神に捧げられたものであるゆえに頭にカミソリを当ててはならないなんて話もあるわけだし。
So you know all about Nami then, huh? There was also an opposite story. When Sasunu no Mikoto was chased from heaven, his beard and hair were cut, weakening him.
神に捧げるものには傷があってはならない。傷をつけてはいけない。怪談話の夜だっけ？犠牲って字のこと話したでしょ？
So that's why your hair is long then, huh? You cut it, it counts as a wound.
牛完全なるなり。
However, I heard that the ox killed during the encounter ritual had its left eye injured beforehand. I wondered if, according to Sensei, that wouldn't be a proper sacrifice. Or was that something that couldn't be offered to a god? Or else?
始まるわよ。
What is? Oh. The air was filled with translucent red. The last remnants of the sun combined with the swaying waves of the vast sea, and created a displacement of wavering red. Like how a bullfighter waves a red cloth to excite a bull, the four sides of the wavering red sea seemed to irritate the ox. Though the reason it was like that might be because it was denied its meal, or maybe something had been mixed up in its food. Or perhaps it had somehow realized its fate and was determined to struggle against that. It faced a priest dressed in white who was going to sacrifice it and lowered its great horns. Perhaps those were a requirement. The courtesan matched the stance of the ox as he unsheathed his sword and held it low. With those 3 points focused on him, I wondered how many times the waves crashed, or how many heartbeats had passed. At the arrival of a wave markedly larger than the rest, the ox charged forward, using all the strength in its body. To me, the sound of the waves resembled the sound of the ox pounding across the sea god's shrine. Before the sound of the wave disappeared, the ox had shortened the distance between it and the priest. Right before the raging bull waved his horns in the air during its mad dash, the courtesan countered clockwise and deftly moved to the left side of the ox.
牛の死角に
The ox's left eye was crushed to resemble the Oni King. Since herbivores had white set eyes, that side was a complete blind spot.
なるほどね。こりゃうまいわ。
Crushing the ox's eye might not have just been to follow the myth. It might have also been to make the ritual easier to perform. He swung his longsword down at the same time that he dodged. Those who have held a sword should know this, but a forward stance normally has the front arm and front foot forward, which makes it easier to move to the right and cut to the left. So crushing the ox's left eye was in reality a practical move.
ねかた宗次。厄介な相手ね。
あの人は強い
The head slid off, rolled, and fell into the ocean. The headless body collapsed with a thump, though we couldn't hear it from this far away. The blood painted the sea god's shrine in red. The sun shining against the ocean seemed to dye everything else in red. As if that were the final afterglow, the setting sun slid beyond the border of the ocean, and it turned to night.
これがネカタの祭儀
The wind blew, and like the resentful moan of the ox just earlier, a low howl rang out.
見て海が瑠璃色に光って
翔子ちゃん、門から力が漏れています。今、その力のせいでマタムの封印が解けます。
Not good. Shiver. All the hairs on my body stood on end.
この正気は和田摘みの落とし子か。
I do not recognize this voice. Who is that?
誰だね。
お前が演じたその劇の芝居を作った張本人さ。根方宗次、なかなかにいい役者っぷりだったぜ。そこまで完璧に演じてもらえるとは戯作者冥利に尽きらあな。
You mean the ritual sacrifice that was supposedly created by Kuru? The man who crunched through the underbrush was a tall man. The tall man was the complete opposite to the man in white. Besides his face and hair, he was dressed completely in black. Nice suit. His skin and hair were white, But his right eye, glittering among the field of white, was not that color, but red. However, what stood out more than anything was... Well... You have an eye patch on your left eye. Are you by chance related to the Oni King of old? Reflecting the lapis lazuli light coming from the ocean, his other eye was covered in what looked like a silver eye patch.
君は
前にも俺とは会ってるだろう。お前の方は少し老けたが、俺はそうでもないはずだぜ。
That man was one-eyed, white-haired.
陰陽師鬼一方言。
いかにも鬼一方言だ。
As he tapped the eye patch which hid his left eye, the man in black nodded, agreeing with that assessment.
これは一体どういうことだ。
どういうこととは何がだね。
Onichi Hogen grinned and shrugged his shoulders as if he were falsely accused. He took a step across the floating bridge.
それを伝えたのが君の何代前か何十代前か、それとも君自身なのかは知らないが、鬼一方言。その名を持つ陰陽師が伝えた際には、門の封じを強め、封じのほころびを作ろうためになされるものだと聞く。何故門の封じがほころびる。
さて、それは俺の預かり知らぬところだが、大方剣が近づいてきてるせいじゃねえのかな。
鬼王の剣が鬼王を切った将が奪い、そして今では失われたはずの剣が浦島に。
ああ、俺が持ってこいと言ったからさ。
You told my cousin to bring it? So then this whole freaking shindig was all your doing then, huh? You're the little mastermind behind the scenes. The one-eyed, white-haired Omiyuji, Onichi Hogen, arrived at the shrine where the lapis lazuli light made the darkness stand out. It was far away and at night, so I couldn't see clearly. But something was mixed in among the darkness there near the sea god's shrine.
さて、こっちの方も頃合いか。
There it is. Matamu. A cluster of clouds wafting up from where the ox's blood fell into the sea took the form of an ox and hovered near the shrine.
マタムよ、我が傍らにはべれ。
Answering the spell cast by Onichi Hogen, the air, sea, and our bodies were shaken up by a splitting roar.
何あれ。
マタムです。
I knew that.
あれが封じられていたマタムの一部です。
This is all because even though I knew we had no time to waste, I'd still decide to watch the situation first. We weren't able to keep our promise to Yasuhime-sama.
よーし。
Well,
いい
shit.
子だ。
またも
驚いたか。まあ驚くだろうな。九段の鬼王ウーラもそうだが、俺たち海縁に住まうエビスどもの王にはこいつをうまいこと使いこなす方法が伝わっているのさ。ましてや俺は特別だ。
He said that as he tapped his eye patch.
もうご理解いただけたと思うが、こいつに島を荒らさせたのも重複して信頼を集めたのも全部が俺の仕込みだったわけだ。
You, huh?
ならば我々に伝えられてきた儀式を。
言うなれば正しい目的も知らされず、言われた通りに延々と二栄を捧げ続け、和田摘みの都瑠璃宮への門を開くには鍵たる剣か、一時的であれ それと同等の力が必要になる。
So, gather an equivalent amount of power over a long period of time. You could brute force open the door, but if you manage to get the key, you won't necessarily need that power anyway. Either or, given enough time, you can open the gate to the Sea God's palace. Quite the plan.
なんせ一時は俺も本気で剣が失われたと思っていたからな。だからこうした凝った仕掛けを作らせてもらったが、その後100年経たないうちにとある機会に剣が使われ、俺の興味がそっちに戻っちまったんだよな。つまり浦島の猜疑はどうでもいいものになってたんだが、律儀に続けてくれていたおかげでそこそこの力が溜まっているらしい。あって困るものではないし、何かの役には立つだろう。一応例は言っておくぜ。
方言、お兄ち、方言。
無駄だ。
Nakata-san tried to cut him down, but Matamu stood in front of Onichi Hugen to keep Nakata-san from doing so. Like what Nakata-san did earlier to the ox, he tried to cut down Matamu's head while he rotated, but there was no injury at all. No, there might have been a wound, but the miasma immediately plugged it up.
無駄だよ、ねえ方宗次。俺が伝えた九郎流、今ではすっかり別物になってはいるが、所詮は人間相手の憲法だ。化け物に通じるはずがないだろう。この写し身を作る力は、ねえ方が今まで捧げてきた三重から絞り取られたものだ。牛から、それ以外のものから。そんな由来のマタムに食らわれ、ね方の当主が力になるのは因果応報ってやつかもな。の
中田さんが。
お父さん。
Perhaps we should stop standing around and actually try to do something now. Just a suggestion, guys. A cold chill ran down my back as I felt as if all the hairs on my back stood on end.
これは
剣が来ました。
あれは
There she is. Natsuni-san. That's your name. The Kenkei, who was the spitting image of a Natsuni-san from 8 years ago, rushed past us and headed for the Sea God Shrine.
老流石楽器。ね方さんはどうした？ここで儀式をしているはずのね方宗次はどこへ行った？
ああ、あいつなら食われたよ。
Unichi Hugen, who the Natsuni-san lookalike called Roryu, pointed to the monster that resembled an ox. The Kenkei looked at the form of Matamu. Her face twisted into a pained expression.
マタムと剣が共振してやがるんだな。なんせ大元は一つの存在だ。お前もそいつを手放さないと食われるぜ。
しかし私はこの剣で。
ああ、お前に教えたそのことだがな。
You lied to her about something, didn't you? He didn't even attempt to hide his brazen smile, which made me feel ill.
悪い。あれは全部俺のでっち上げだ。
Yeah, you lied about something. Totally not surprised. You definitely seem to be the kind of guy who lies about a lot of things.
なんだと？
クロークルーに食われた者は輪廻の輪からも外されて 未来永劫を苦しみ抜くだったか。だがまあ安心しろ。お前の身内のことは知らんが、永遠の命でもない限り永劫の苦痛などあり得るはずがない。
Relative. Who?
苦しむとしたら食われる間のことだけだ。脳も魂も食い尽くされ、小木とすらも曖昧になっちまえば
じゃあ
亡くなっただろうな。根方宗次が同様に。
それでは私がしてきたことは
Was all for naught.
俺に剣を持ってきた。それだけのことだし。
貴様老流馬老流
The Kenkei tried to cut him down, but the muscles of her entire body stiffened, as if she were struck by lightning. After that one jumping movement, she stopped.
それだ。それがクロークルーに魂を食われる苦痛だ。己を失っていく恐怖だ。お前が想像していた身内の今だ。
The Kenkei, who looked exactly like Natsuni-san, wheezed in painful gasps.
苦しいか。苦しいだろ。苦しいはずだ。目玉一つで大騒ぎできる痛みだ。それが永久に続くとしたら、死者でありながら生きている。その混沌としたあり方が幸いして、お前は波より早く混ざって、痛みも己も消えるだろうが。
Alive and dead, so that explains why she hasn't aged since 8 years ago.
俺からの礼と選別だ。今すぐそれから解放してやる。その地獄からは救ってやる。
I didn't know from where he retrieved it, but Roryu held an elegant black spear in his hand.
俺が解釈つかまつろう。
老流老流
今度はならずに死ぬといい。
The 3 tips pierced the Kenkei's chest. For sure, one of those points pierced her through the heart. Even if it were an Oni, that would...
夏姉さん翔ちゃんの声
The Kenkei responded to my scream by calling my name. Though we were this far away, I could hear what she said. The sword fell from the Kenkei's Natsuni-san's hand and hit the floor, with a mysterious sound neither stone nor metallic. Roryu picked up the sword.
ようやく我が手に戻ったか。我らフオルの王権よ。さて、剣もマタムも手に入れた。これで俺に勝てそうな奴はいないも同然だが、この手に鍵がある以上、門を開いてみるのも一興。
You know, ladies, we could have intervened at any point and possibly prevented this from happening. Not likely, but possibly. And yet, you were all content to just stand around and watch like a gaggle of spectators. Good going. And then, the door to hell opened. And just like that, it's over.
環境設定を保存するけど、それでいい？
Well, shit. Yeah, seriously, good going, guys. You allowed the obvious big bad of this whole freaking story to open the gate to hell. Bravo. Although maybe if I make some slightly different choices somewhere along the line, maybe I can change that. It's at this point I think I'm going to start going back a bit and make several different decisions along the way, because I'm towards the very bottom of the flowchart currently, but there was nowhere else for me to progress past this point that I haven't already seen before. So I'm going to just start with this one option right here, and just say that it's okay for Aoi to get in touch with Mikata, and see if maybe just doing one little decision like this somewhere along the way will be the one thing I need to produce a radically different outcome. So, I'm gonna get started. Though if Nakata-san were looking after us, we might be able to get some good information about where the Tokusaki no Tsubaki were.
いいですけど。
Half-heartedly agreed. Oh, I just now remembered. I could have asked Nami. Shit. Oh, whatever. I'm already on this path, so I might as well see what happens. Was what we were doing illustrated by the phrase running around quickly but not getting anywhere? Sensei's voice got cut off in the middle.
あれ、もしもし？
役に立たなくなりました？
なった。
The remaining battery power was completely used up. The other party might think I might even think I got tired of listening and turned off the phone.
ああ、葵先生、怒ってるだろうな。
どうして怒るんですか？
Look at the flowchart.
進行状態。カーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ。
I guess it didn't matter? Alright then. Okay. Come on, Nami. Impart with me your wisdom. If I had a stronger sense of deja vu, it might not be a bad idea to follow it, but I was a person with bad luck. I didn't think I could just happen about the location just by walking around. Better than relying on my sunken memory from 8 years ago.
ナミ、どっちにあるかわかる？
I decided to confirm with Nami. After all, Yasuhime-sama was attached to Nami. Nami might not be aware, but the power she reclaimed from the Tokusaki no Tsubaki in the South Forest still resided in her.
少し待ってください。
Is how Nami answered as she let go of our linked hands and stuck both hands out in front of her. Holding her breath and trying to concentrate on listening, she slowly turned, causing the wave-like patterns on her sleeves to flutter.
翔子ちゃん、こっちです。
Wow. I guess I was totally proven wrong to think that you would be useless in this situation. Whether or not her dimly white hand could feel power in the dark night, she headed in the direction she finally faced. Nami padded back towards me, took my hand that she let go of, and once again began walking forward. We were walking through a dark forest. Nami showed no uncertainty as she held my hand and led me through the dark forest. The sense of deja vu I felt was stronger than before. I didn't know if it was because the forest was like what I'd seen, or if it was because Nami was holding my hand, or due to both.
ナミ、私とこうして歩いたことない？
She stopped walking and tilted her head to the side.
私もそんな気がしますけど。
Did the awakened Nami also remember nothing, like how I couldn't remember what happened 8 years ago? We might both just be having a sense of deja vu. I believed that Nami wasn't attached to me because I was the first one to find her, but that it was due to some sort of fate. For example, the girl in my dream, though her age didn't match up with Nami's. That girl had the same wavy hair as Nami.
床先の椿のところまで行けばわかることか。
はい。
Up, and we're now skipping. Let me look at the flowchart.
進行上、カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Looks like there could be a fork here, but I don't know if it will really mean anything. It meant absolutely nothing. Go freaking figure. Anyway, I'm busy, Sensei, so why don't you go talk with Momoko about animal protein or something? The incoming ringtone didn't immediately stop. I pondered what to do. In the end, I decided to shut it off.
音、鳴らなくなりました。
よ、進行状態。カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
Yeah, it looks like I'm about to converge right back at this point, and we're just gonna go right down all the way to this ending again.
役に立たなくなりましたか？
ううん、電源を切ったのよ。
切るとどうなりますか？
本当に大切な時だけ使えるようになるの。
Oh, I didn't think of that. We could use it during a true emergency. Maybe this one phone call will prove to be useful. Since I didn't know when I could charge it, in an unpredictable situation like this, it was very important to preserve the battery.
それは良いと思います。
Nami also agreed, so I didn't think my decision was incorrect. But still, I think Aoi Sensei is gonna be a lot less confused about whether or not she's gonna be she's gonna get angry.
ああ、葵先生、怒ってるだろうな。
どうして怒るんですか？
Okay, I'm just okay. Wait.
進行
Let
状
me
態。
look at the flowchart.
カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
I think what I'll do is I'll just continue playing through following Deja Vu and then see what
多分
happens later
こっ
on.
ちだ。進行
And
カーソルを合わせると章台が表示されるわよ。
should be around here. Here we go. New scene. The first stumbling block that I hadn't asked. The first stumbling block was that I hadn't asked for her cell phone number. Probably Migiwa's. As an adult, the monk, who had custody of Migiwa, might have prudently refrained from asking.
右輪さんからメールが来ていました。
Get in contact via Shiro and then have her get in touch with Migiwa. That's right. At some point in time, Aoi Shiro had exchanged email addresses with her. Perhaps they had also exchanged phone numbers. If I send her a message, I might also be able to contact her.
もしもし。
翔子さん、
綾代？悪いんだけど。
翔子さん、一体今どこにいるんですか？
Since Nami and I had vanished with no advance warning at all, the people of Choshinji were as restless as a disturbed beehive. I had cut off the telephone call from Aoi Sensei, so there was also a possibility that something might have happened to us. I kept the part about Yasuhime-sama and Matamu hidden, and told him that we had gone to Urashima to recover Nami's memory. We went and entered the forbidden land of Urashima, the Kata-san's private lands, to the Tokosaki no Tsubaki. After I coaxed it out of Aoi Shiro, I was able to obtain Migiwa's contact information.
もしもし、右は？
なんだ、小坂。どうしたのよ。
時間がないから手短に言うわね。私とナミ、今、浦島にいるの。は？剣のこととか、いろいろ相談したいことがあるから、合流したい。
In the end, I was just relying on instinct. Migawa had disappeared before dusk, so I was thinking she might have gone to Hiroshima before us during the previous low tide. Okay, we definitely gotta be on the path to a different thing now.
進行状態の把握カーソルを合わせ
Yeah,
る
we definitely are. Good. Looks like I found that one tiny little choice I had to make. That resulted in a much different outcome. I heard a voice. I heard someone calling
オー
me.
サオーサ起きろオーサ何どうしたの寝ぼけるなこら
Don't slap me. At the light impact, my slightly open eyes popped open.
右は右はじゃないわよ
Cuddled next to me with her head in her arms, Nami also woke up, rubbing her sleepy eyes. How'd you know where to find us? Did we tell you?
おはようございます。
That's right, we were... Don't hit Nami!
電話一本で人のこと呼び出して熟睡した挙句に寝ぼけてるって一体どういう了見かしら
Hey, we're human. We need sleep just like any other living creature. Since I was smacked again, this wasn't a time to relax. Oh wait, it was just Shoko. Never mind.
ごめん
But still, don't hit me again either.
それで
Because the battery in my phone ran out, I didn't have time to tell her why Nami and I were here, so she was asking about that.
用語進行状態のカーソルを合わせると章題が表示されるわよ
Looks to me like depending on... I could be wrong, but it looks to me like depending on what I choose here, I could just find myself being redirected right back to this particular ending right here. So I'm going to take a guess and say maybe in order to avoid that, I should mention Yasuhime-sama.
それは
Let me look.
進行上カーソルを合わせ
Okay, I'm
る
on the
と
left path,
章題が表示されるわよ
I think I might have just made the right choice. Briefly, I told Migiwa about the relationship between Nami and Yasuhime-sama. And in order to repair the hole in the seal that restrained Matamu, we had crossed the Oni stepping stones. Yasuhime-sama entrusted us with that task. We also had to do something about the sword that crossed over to the island. Because of the sword, I thought we should work together, since Migiwa was an Onikiri, and Nami wasn't an ordinary person.
まさかナミーが浦島の安姫様だとはね
That's why I had a tinge of unease about revealing Nami's identity. However, Migiwa just looked down and pondered.
なるほど何伝説っていうか昔話なんだけどうちの初代が凸国の祭司もう運ってやつと一戦交えたことがあるんだけどさ
Maun.
凸国
I didn't see how this was connected to Nami. Why was she suddenly talking about this? I didn't see where this was going yet.
どこの国だか知らないけど水地の民とか海縁に住まうエビスだとかフオルとか言ったんじゃなかったかな
Oh, I see. Didn't that legend mention that that whole group of Oni that arrived at Hiroshima came from the sea?
そのモーウンが呼び出して刺激したのが災い形は牛に似て頭は虎の化け物らしいよ
Ah.
それって、似てるでしょマタムと
She was indicating that Matamu wasn't the grudge of the Oni King, but was summoned and wielded by someone.
案外殺入祭神ネカタの牛殺しはそのマタムに似た形の白を集めるための作業かもしれないわね
She was saying that the Nakata ritual wasn't a reenactment like Aoi Sensei surmised, but was to gather power to offer Matamu. Kon was the spiritual energy that supported the soul. Paku was the spiritual energy that supported the body. Like how water conforms to its container, the soul, which was like a malleable power, it would be constrained by the physical body. If the souls of those oxen resembled the vessel of Matamu, then perhaps their souls would also start to resemble that. The souls of the oxen would be nothing compared to the real Matamu, though.
一年一頭の儀式も800年続ければ800頭です。
If you piled up enough dust, you could even make a mountain. The red tsubaki flowers, which were supposed to keep Matamu forever sealed, had scattered. The sword had the same origin as Matamu, and was already at Urashima. Both were increasing each other's power. Offering even a tiny bit of power in this situation might be the drop that releases Matamu, like Yasuhime-sama feared. We had to stop that ritual.
行こう。
We head toward the sea god's shrine, where the ritual was said to take place. Okay, I'm probably gonna make some of you guys mad, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut things off here, and we can see if our attempt to stop this ritual will succeed in the next episode. I am skeptical that it will, but maybe we might end up finding a weapon somewhere along the way that will allow us to fight off Matamu and, well, its handler. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Aoi Shiro. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. And let me tell you, I am certainly very interested to see what happens next time. Take care.